Huskers wrapped up practice number 13 here on Tuesday. Hi, Sean Callahan with HuskerOnline.com, as there will just be one more practice before Saturday's red-white spring game. We heard more, though, about the scrimmage this past Saturday where the offense had a big day.
I think just the operation, our offensive operation, execution is still not at 100%, but the guys we know what to do now, and we're stepping in the right directions. Now we just have to execute it a little bit higher, execute the technique at a little bit higher rate. But I think just 2 or 3 weeks into it, getting a lot of football in the last 3 weeks, I think just naturally helped them improve and develop.
A lot of talk as well about the quarterbacks and just what we've seen from guys like Dylan Raiola, Heinrich Harburg, and Daniel Kalen.
The plan is they'll all get chances to play with all the different groups. They're still battling and competing with each other. And then what I want to see is just them taking care of the football, securing the snap, taking care of the football, throwing the ball away when needed, just making sure that we have the ball at the end of every whistle.
What about the turnovers? I think for Marcus Satterfield, that's a huge point of emphasis this spring as the Huskers led the country in turnovers.
Well, I don't even want you to ask me stuff like that. We've improved.
Then we caught up with running backs coach E.J. Barthel as he broke down his room. And, I asked him this question: how big of a priority is it to have a number one outright running back this spring?
Well, I'll tell you what, if you were to ask me that 2 years ago, I probably would have told you it's extremely important. But going through what we went through last year, you know what I mean? That was the first ever I came into the office and you lose your 1 and 2 on the same day. You know what I mean? So I would tell you from an experience of last season, I think the more depth, the better. You know what I mean? And honestly, the chips will fall where they're going to fall. I talked to Emmett last year in August, and we had a lot of one-on-one talks about where he's at and with his progression and development. And I remember just like yesterday, his first play was double-A mug against double-A mug pressure, and he steps up against Michigan and makes a great play on third down. You know what I mean? His first snap as a young player against Michigan, he came off to the side. I told you, be ready when you're ready, and he was ready. So I take that message with Emmett, with the other guys. You know what I mean? And don't worry about when the time comes or when your moment comes to be listed as the starter, but you need to be ready. You know what I mean? And the one thing I think positive about this group is we have some depth. And we have some guys that can do different things, and that's really important, as I've just learned from last season.
A number of the key running backs, though, are limited this spring coming off injury, in Gabe Ervin Jr. and Emmett Johnson.
Obviously, Ramir and Gabe have been limited, just kind of recovering still. And, Ramir's pretty much he's pretty good, but just getting him some work, you know what I mean? And he's kind of being monitored by coach a little bit here. But he's really grown mentally. He's if you watch him this offseason in our workouts, the biggest thing I noticed about Ramir is his mental focus and his determination. That's the two things that jumped out for me with Ramir. He's determined to make a statement and with his career and for this team. You know what I mean? He's had some adversity here as a player. He knows as a staff, Coach Rule and the offensive staff, myself, we believe in him, and so I think he appreciates that. And he's really coming into his own here as a leader and as a contributor for his role and what it's going to be.
I mean, I'm in pads right now. I'm going through the individual drills, like in Indy. That's what we call it in practice. And, going through those things, and I feel good. They just, really just trying to take precaution, trying to get me even more healthy. And summer I'm going to be rolling. Fall camp I'm going to be there. I'm going to be rolling.
Gabe and Ramir both do a tremendous job. Gabe, he's like a coach on the field. He's out there, whenever he's not doing his work on the side, he's out there mentoring those young guys, making sure, we split up on all these different fields. And so, like, EJ can't be at every single field, so he's like a coach on the field. He's done a really nice job, him and Raheem both. Ramir.
The most challenging part is just like, seeing the guys, do what I love, and just like, being on the sideline, supporting. I love supporting the guys, but just like, that aspect of football taken away from me, again, it's the most challenging part that I have to deal with every day. But being stronger mentally is something that I've been trying to develop, because you're gonna need to be stronger mentally, throughout your whole life. So this taking this time to just like working on my mental piece and knowing it's gonna be okay for the future, focusing on what I can control, controlling what I can only control, and just taking it on. I mean, loving the guys even more. The days that I come in and I'm like, dang, I want to be out there. Just love the guys even more, supporting the guys. And we have a good group of guys, and I love them. And we're gonna be good coming this fall. But that's been the most challenging thing, and just like, watching them do things that I love, and because I have a passion for the game, and just like watching them, do it day in, day out. But they've been putting in some good work, and I feel like, we're gonna be really good.
And for Gabe, he hurt his hip early in the season. It was the second major injury he sustained as a Husker.
Yeah, going back to that game, I really thought, we went into the tent, and Coach EJ and the athletic trainer, Coach Chris, was there, and it was like, it just seems like a pull, hip flexor pull. And I'm like, yeah, but it didn't feel like a pull. I was just trying to keep positive vibes, keep positive energy. And the next day, I came back in the training room, and we got an MRI on it, and that's when we found out it was more serious than what it was. And it's just, memories just brought back to freshman year where I hurt my knee. And it's just one of those season-ending injuries that I have to deal with. But I'm going on forward and not going to think about that. I'm control what I can control, keep positive energy, positive vibes, and I'm just going to keep on going because I'm not going to let that stop me. That's not going to stop me.
Meanwhile, Emmett Johnson continues to take full advantage of the opportunity here at running back.
Yeah, spring's been going well for me so far. I think just getting a lot more reps and just seeing everything differently this year, having a lot more experience and everything like that, it's been good. And I've been, stacking days and just working hard every day. I would say I always had confidence, but I just feel like now it's like I've seen a lot of things, and, I'm able to take that next step and kind of like, is rather than like if I mess up on a play, I'm looking at the things that I could have did better on it, just knowing that, I'm a step ahead of last year, I feel like, with all my reads and just, I'm stronger, I'm faster. So I think I'm just seeing everything more clearly this season.
Johnson also hit on a couple of newcomers on defense that have opened his eyes in linebacker Vincent Shavers and defensive back Bly Hill.
Man, I would say, there's a couple. Shavers, a linebacker, he's been doing a great job, and he's a physical guy. He runs to the ball after plays. He's been doing great with that. Bly, playing corner, he's been a good impression too on the defensive side of things. But I'll say they're all working really hard, but those are like the two guys that I would say have been sticking out.
And then finally, it's year 2 here for Matt Rule, and for veterans in the program like Irvin Jr., it's just been a lot more comfortable this spring.
We're adapted to the system and how they operate, and I feel like, we just, taking a jump from last year because, it's a new staff and trying to figure out how they are and how they do things and don't really know. And now we know, and now we're just like, embracing that process that they're instilling, because that process is really good. Coach Rule and the staff, they know what they're doing, and you can tell they know what they're doing. And we're really just buying in, to the process. Coach Rule talks about that every day, buying into the process, because, it's a hard process. It's not for everybody. But, he really building us, for the next level. He building us for that next structure in life, not only to be a player, but to be a man. They building us to become great group of young men to, take a toll in life.
Huskers are back to work here Thursday for practice 14. Reporting with the Nebraska football team in Lincoln, I'm Sean Callahan of HuskerOnline.com.